going through AI today for hackathons. Are everyone ready? Shall we start? It's innovation. It gives you ideas which you can add in, which you might not have thought on. It reduces your diabetes system too. Yeah. Diabetes prediction system. All right. Book a mechanical website. Wow. Just pressing it in, signing it in. I just entered the basic prompt and it will start generating something. Till then, I'll move on. We also have many other websites for this sort of stuff for rapid prototyping. One is Lovable, same interface. We also have VNote by Vercel, which is also a very cool website for prototyping. You guys can check all of these out. We'll wait for this to build, and till then, I'll just take you through another famous coding assistant, which is none other than GitHub Copilot. For that, you need to download VS Code, and just after installing VS Code, go to extensions just like this and just type GitHub Copilot. My Wi-Fi is very slow today. I already have it activated. In the latest VS Code version, it already activates the GitHub Copilot. So if you enable this extension, you will get this sort of icon over here in the top. This is a really cool way to code and further enhance your projects. Another alternative is Cursor. You guys can check this out as well. Cursor is a similar project, but note one thing that Bolt, Lovable, VNote, all of these have limits. They're not completely free. They have free trials. Cursor is also not free. It has a free trial. GitHub Copilot also has a free trial. But I'll show you one more thing. If you guys go to GitHub Education Pack and click on the first link, here you have a full page of stuff that you get free as a student. Many offers for students. You just need to verify your student status and you'll get all of this for free. So offers include GitHub Copilot Pro, which is a lot better than the normal GitHub Copilot. Many of you might have not used Copilot Pro, but trust me, it is a lot better. And we have Notion, Namecheap, many other stuff that you can get as a part of get as a part of student developer pack. Then I'll close this. We'll have a look. See it. This is a problem with coding using AI. It often faces problems. We can either attempt to fix it, or we can better way would be manually trying to figure things out ourselves first, and then telling, okay, fix this part if it is wrong. For now, we'll just leave it to the AI. Here, I would like to show you a couple of more features in Copilot, which is add context. Whenever you are working with any AI for your project, it is very crucial to give it the right context. If you don't give it the right folders that you're using, the right text tag, the images that you might be referring to, it will not give the right response. And you have multiple options over here. Ask mode, which is just like using ChatGPT, but inside the VS Code. You have the edit mode, which does changes to your code. You have an agent mode. Guys, are you with me so far? Awesome. So to handle the code inside it. This way, you can get things working faster than just telling Copilot to do everything from scratch. This is a good idea as well. Also, I did the same on Lovable. Lovable also gave a pretty cool website. Just wait for it to load. Same prompt, and this was the result. And not to confuse you guys, this is not at all our hackathons page. It is a lot better than this. But this is how we can get started with things. So if you guys are totally unaware to start where to start coding and stuff, maybe start trying this stuff and try to understand what each code is. Like I can just scroll over here and maybe check out components, which also component has it made multiple components like about section, footer section. This is like it made multiple sections, and it also made some UI elements, and then that is like a bit about how things are there inside the code. After this, we'll move on with our nice English and don't keep them ambiguous, and give context to your projects, just as I showed the context thing in VS Code. And always ask the AI to add debugging statements or test the application that it made, something like that, so that it is easier to verify. This is a small example of what a good prompt versus a bad prompt is. Just telling making a calculator in Python isn't that great. Better mention write a Python program for a calculator is to integrate LLMs or the AI part into your own applications. Many examples for APIs, don't worry. So APIs where you can connect remotely to their servers and use their LLMs. You can use much bigger LLMs if you use APIs. So that is one plus point of APIs. but you also have a benefit of using local LLMs. Is the benefit is you can fine tune them. You can like keep your LLMs under your control. So one of the platform that is most popular for local LLM deployment is Olama. You just need to go to search Olama download. Download the version for your OS, fine. And then you'll open the terminal, run most APIs. When you set them up, you set them up using some API key which is used for authentication, so that Copilot and any other AI in your Chrome have spaces like place where you can run your code, which is like a very great option for most students. How is the stuff discussed so far? Yeah, so it totally depends if you want to fake it. You can use a prompt response JSON. It will look like it is an AI, but it won't be an AI. So when you use a JSON file with prompts and responses, that type of chatbot is very limited to answer questions only within your prompts. It won't what do you say? It won't answer stuff which is more like it will be just a question and answer. You have specific question answers. Without the LLM aspect, you might not get such a good chatbot experience. Great point, John. They eat up tokens so fast. It might eat up tokens so fast, but I use it pretty like it was pretty. It's a document processing. I used it for document processing too. I used many workarounds for large documents and batch processing of around 200 documents. What I did was I used 5 different accounts. I made 5 API keys, and then whenever the quota for one API key is over, shift to the next API key. Maybe try that next time. And I barely used just 3, and I was shifting between the 3, and 3 were more than enough for 200 documents. Example using Rock, pretty soon. Oh, interesting thing I found. Since you guys have been so interactive, maybe I'll just reveal this. So check this site out. It is a very awesome site for people in India. It gave me an API key within just 2 hours. The whole process was over in 2 hours. I didn't use it yet, but I think this is a very great option for APIs, especially if you're working on a very cool project. One more thing to present out. If I click on this, it opens. Yeah, so LiveBench is a real-time leaderboard. It has a leaderboard where it shows the rankings of different models based on various dimensions. So for example, if I'm coding, I would click on this coding average and I'll try to choose someone from the top over here. So I can see Cloud Force on it. And as you guys can see over here, I set my models always to Cloud Sonnet 4, and it gives me pretty good results. Also, if you are, suppose you are using a very generic application like chatbot, you might try this one out. You might not have access to many of these, but you'll find at least one model which is way better than all others. So that was for model selection. Do you have anything available? We just give them frameworks are LangChain and CrewAI. LangChain is mostly used for stuff that is like sequential. Like first you need to create a document, then you need to analyze it, then you need to search web for related stuff, and then you need to gather all those stuff. Then first install CrewAI. You need to define your agents. Which input is for taking the input. Here I am setting the LLM model. I set it to Grok, Llama 3.18 billion parameters and instant model. So I configured tokens temperature, and I made an instance of the search tool class. So this search tool is now more like a tool that Creo AI agents can use. So here, as you can see, I pass this search tool as tool to one of the agents. The second part in our PPT was define your agents, right? So here we are defining the agents. We have one researcher agent and we have one writer agent. So researcher agent, it basically researches the latest trends in sustainable energy. And to give it a context, we give it a prompt and you are an expert researcher with 10 years of experience in renewable energy and clean technology analysis. This might sound weird if you're seeing this type of prompts for the first time, but trust me, these are some very good prompt engineering styles that if you follow, you will have very great results. We also have a writer agent similarly. And for the researcher agents, we made just a simple web scraping tool. Now we gave them tasks over here. The research agent got a research specific task, so it has to research the latest trends in 2025, focus on breakthroughs, technologies, market development, and future outlook. Use a web search tool to gather current information. And then what the output should look like. So it should be a detailed summary of 6 major sustainable energy trends with specific examples, data points, and analysis. And then we have this writing agent. We are giving it a task to make a comprehensive 500-word blog post using engaging title, introducing introduction, detailed trend sections, and forward-looking conclusions. So what the benefit of this is that consider using multiple AI agents working parallelly. And QAI makes all of this look so. We are sending both of does its execution. So that way, using Llama 3.1, and this is where the Q framework has started execution. It set up the agents, it set up the tools for agents, it took tool input in this format, the tool gives this output, and then you can actually see agents over here. The writer agent working over here, and where is the researcher agent? Yeah, this is a researcher agent. Sorry, agent tool execution. The researcher is giving input. The LLM is actually giving the input. It is giving this tool input, and then it is getting some response. And yeah, sure, I'll go through that again. And then we have the task completion of the research agent, then the writer agent starts, and the writer agent's what it is doing in the background. These print statements weren't meant to confuse you guys, just to show that how it works internally. Finally, it will give a 500-word blog post that we wanted in a very, what do you say, very nice format with all the markdown syntax. For example, this one will be a bit bigger than the normal text. So this is output we got. We got a request to web. Okay, and for and after the research, will do their stuff and go off as well in our hackathon as well. The advantages of deploying multiple agents. Two different things. Does that make sense? LLMs models that generate AI agents. It's a very good tool as well. It has many LLMs. These tools, as you can see, they is display over here. I'll let you refresh this. It opens up like this. So agents are like more if you want to do more complex stuff, maybe, and cooler stuff, obviously. The industry is use your brain for something other than writing code. And it also is the one I discussed, QAI. You can like many LLM apps to explore. So if you guys are building something, maybe check these out to get inspiration. One more last link, which is one of the best. And this is Microsoft's repository for AI agents for beginners. This repository is like, it might be the only thing that you need to go from zero. I'll just click on it, check how awesome it is, and then maybe just start it for referencing further. Difference. And moving on, we have characteristics of microservices. So we focus on keeping things small and focused in microservices so that any service, like just user authentication, can be handled separately. You can have multiple people in your team and each of them can work on a particular part. And we have many other examples as well, like Firebase. It also has a microservice for authentication and many more.